But you know the history, as Satyasina said, history of Bengal and Tibet go way back. In fact, Bengalis have played major role in reviving Buddhism in Tibet and spreading Buddhism and popularizing Tibetan literature around the world. There was a very famous, some say it's a spy, but he was a scholar, was Sarat Chandra Das. In 19th century, he went to Tibet. He stayed there for a long time. He studied Tibetan to the extent that he was so fluent in Tibetan, he wrote the first dictionary, Tibetan English dictionary. So in 1950s and 60s, when he came to exile, his dictionary was the most used dictionary. So around the world, even the Western scholars, those who wanted to study Tibet, those who didn't understand Tibetan, they used that Sarat Chandra Das dictionary. And when he came from Tibet to India, returned, he brought tons of scriptures and text. That also is preserved. So that saved a lot about Tibet, especially about Tibetan Buddhism. See? So that's the modern contribution by a Bengali scholar. Now again, Buddhism was introduced in Tibet in 7th, 8th centuries. And it flourished. But then there was disunity, factional fights, then Buddhism declined. And in 10th and 11th century, Atisha Dipankar, again another Bengali scholar, was invited to Tibet to reintroduce and revive Buddhism. So the revival of Buddhism in Tibet was because of a major contribution by another Bengali scholar. So I'm looking forward to all the Bengali students here and hoping you will lead the Tibetan movement like Subhash Chandra Bose and other great leaders, right? And help us free Tibet as well, isn't it? Because his name is Satya, so that's the truth, So we go way back. Now, I'm supposed to talk about the geopolitics of succession, India, Tibet, and China. Now, let me quote Chief Minister of your neighboring state, Arunachal Pradesh. He was asked by journalists when Galwan Valley, incident happened and Doklam happened, especially Galwan Valley. He was asked, so what do you have to say about this border conflicts at Indo-China border? And he said, please, let me correct you. There is no Indo-China border. It's always Indo-Tibet border. Because for hundreds, even for thousands of years, there was never a border between India and China. So the great Chinese scholar, Mr. Hun, who came to Mr. what's his name? Who came to India on a pilgrimage? Hun San. See, if Tibet was part of China, he could have come through Tibet to India. He went all the way to Karakoram, all the way from Xinjiang, and through Pakistan he came down. None of the three Chinese scholars who came to India didn't come through Tibet. They came because, of course, very good to say. Very good, very good, very good. So, that's how they came. Now, it has always been a border between India and Tibet. Now, when Chinese army, maybe for the students in the back, maybe I can stand and speak. I like to see people's faces. Should I go way back or should I start in 59? Okay, let me go. This is political science students, right? So politics, you must understand. So we all know about Panchshil, right? Signed between China and British India. You all know that. You know the origin of the story? So 1914, there was a similar agreement. There's one famous similar agreement between India and Pakistan. Everybody knows about it, but the others famous, not so famous, but very important, similar agreement was between British India and Tibet in 1914. And then there was also another agreement at that time, trade agreement, okay? So it was signed in 1914 between British India and Tibet. Tibet was represented by Lobsang Sangay, the Prime Minister. And then that treaty was to be renewed every 10 years. 1914, 24, 34, 44, all renewed between Tibet and British India. In 1947, India got its independence. And at that time, Indian government thought, no, we'll sign it with Beijing, not with Tibet. So they went to Beijing, they changed that trade agreement into Panchshil. If you look at the Panchshil agreement, preamble has all this cooperation, peace and harmony, all that thing. But the body is all about trade. From Natula Pass to Tibet, how trade, all about trade and trade routes. Okay? So Panchshil is just in the body. Now, in 1954, when they renewed it, and then India said, now we are friends, Hindi, China, bye-bye. You know, हम लोग तो भाई भाई है, बहन उस समय नहीं था, हाँ. बहन सबको विरोध करना चाहिए उसको, हाँ, हम बहन क्यों नहीं उस समय, हाँ. Hindi, China, bye-bye. We have to sign this. And so because we are friends, we have to have a long-term agreement. And China said, हाँ, 5 years. अरे कैसा? Between friends, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, bolo, 100 years, bolo, it's Panchshil. No, 5 years. Then India insisted, okay, 8 years. What an odd number. Now, this is Panchshil, okay? Friendship treaty. In that, China planted a strategy and date to invade Tibet and invade India. Why? 1954, 5 years. First they wanted to renew for 5 years. 54 plus 5? 59. 59, Tibet was occupied. And the trade was renewed for 8 years. 54 plus 8? 62, war happened. This is Chinese strategy. You study Sun Tzu, it's all about deceit. Can you imagine? You shake hands. उनके हाथ में चाकू था उसी समय. भारतीय शेक हैंड किया, उसको मालूम ही नहीं है. तो हमारा फ्रेंडशिप हो रहा है, हिंदी चाइना बाय बाय. 62 में बाय बाय. है ना? फिर it's been happening. Now recently there's a lot in the news. The Prime Minister has gone to China. Recently visited, huh? Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi came. Indian Prime Minister visiting China after 7 years. है कि? हिंदी चाइना छोटा सा भाई भाई हो रहा है. बहुत जल्दी भाई भाई हो जाएगा. ये हकीकत है. It's a fact. Why I say this is now, because we are Northeast, there are a lot of students from Northeast also. You must know this. So, 54 it was renewed, and Chinese government said, India, Panchshil, we are friends. Could you open Kolkata port for us so that we could bring supplies from Shanghai port to Calcutta, so that we could provide supplies for for Chinese troops and officials in Tibet? Because such a difficult, route, long route, land route from Tibet, from China to Tibet. And Indian government said, Kolkata khol diya. Supplies came, and through Natula Pass, supplies went to Tibet. And then supplies went to Tibet, and then that's how the Chinese army was fed with those supplies, with those food and supplies. That's how the Chinese troops maintained their presence, prolonged their presence in Tibet, because the supplies came through Calcutta port to Tibet. Now there is a mystery. In 1962, June, Chinese army invaded India. Yes? Anyone from Assam here? Few. So Chinese army came all the way to Tezpur. They defeated Indian army like right and left. Why? How they managed to defeat Indian army? Because of the supplies route opened by India through Calcutta. They were better equipped. They were better supplied. But mystery is, they came all the way to Tezpur, but in November they withdrew. There was no counter force from Indian side to push them out. But they withdrew. Why? Because Indian government realized, I made a mistake. Why did I open this Calcutta seaport? Band karo. The moment Calcutta seaport band, supplies ended and the troops withdrew. You see? So all of you who are studying political science, politics, they have Shunju, but you have Chanakya. You better study Chanakya to defeat them. Otherwise, you will be defeated over and over again. Yes? Arthashastra. No? How many of you read Arthashastra? Chanakya बारे में कौन कौन पढ़ा है? 2 professors, 3, 4, 5. जो बाहर से आने वाले ज़्यादा है, I think, yeah. So this is how they do it. Now, in 59, Tibetan Finance Minister Shagaba wrote a letter to the Indian government saying, India must support us. Come to our rescue now, because you will suffer more if China invades and occupies Tibet. And he gave an example. There's a famous letter. He said, today we have only 80 troops, 80 troops, to guard the border of McMahon line. 80. If you don't support us today, you will pay the price. Now, since they occupied Tibet, Chinese army is moving. Now, how many troops are there at the border of India today? 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh. There were only 80 because we trusted each other. Our border is open. Nowadays, they make a big deal. Recently, visit had said, no, they have open Mansarovar route. You have to go to Sikkim. Then you have to drive all the way to Mansarovar. Actually, Mansarovar is right across Ladakh. There's a mountain on this side. You cross over from Ladakh, you're in Mansarovar at Mount Kailash. Why you have to come all the way to Sikkim? Then take land. And now this is seen as a big concession. Wow, we are becoming friends. Now the route is open. Indian pilgrims can go to Mansarovar and Mount Kailash. But they're making it very difficult. If they open Ladakh route, you can just cross over the mountain. Other side is Mount Kailash and Mansarovar. So the concession you get is not a concession even now. And you should not make a big deal. Now India is paying a huge price. So Chinese leaders at that time said, Tibet is the palm, we must occupy. Once we occupy palm, we go up to 5 fingers. 5 fingers are Ladakh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sikkim, and Arunachal. And they are coming after 5 fingers now. Why they are in Doklam? One of the 5 fingers. Why they are in Galwan? 5 fingers. Why there's a continued incursion in Arunachal Pradesh. I went to Bumla. It's a continued incursion. Why is one of the 5 fingers? Look at Nepal now. One party wins, is pro-India. Other party wins, is pro-China. But because of the protest now, all the parties are gone. That's a different matter. Now you look at Bangladesh, one party wins, is pro-China, one party wins, pro-India. You look at Sri Lanka, one party wins, is pro-China, one party wins, is pro-India. Bhutan is under tremendous pressure also. Even though at the moment they lean more towards India, they are under tremendous pressure. Now, if China intention is positive, then they can say, we are a East Asian civilization. That's our domain. Perhaps we can extend to some countries in Southeast Asia. You could say that. Leave South Asia for India. But they're saying no. Pakistan is all-weather friend. Why? To press on India. And Bangladesh, Nepal, as I said, Sri Lanka, Maldives. Remember the one, even the present party who got elected in Maldives said no. We want all the Indian troops, even in civilian dress, all to be out of Maldives. We want Chinese to come in. Are these all steps taken by a friend or a competitor? So the former defense minister, late defense minister, George Fernandez, our friend, he said, India's number one adversary is not Pakistan, it's China. Now there's a growing realization. And recently, last year, in November, New York Times came out with an article based on satellite images. China has built 300 villages across the border, inside LAC, at LAC, and outside LAC. 300 villages already. From Indian side, there's nothing. All inside. They're incentivized. Pakka buildings. Pakka houses are built. 300 villages already. And they're saying, oh, you're from Tawang, Arunachal, that's South Tibet. There's a national park in Bhutan. They say, no, it's part of China. So they're coming out of five fingers. Okay? So this is a reality. So each time there is Hindi China bye-bye. Remember, bye-bye nahi hai. Jaldi bye-bye ho jaye to acha hai. Now, presently, on the issue of reincarnation, there is a whole history I can go on and on the issue of reincarnation. First of all, how many of you believe in the notion of karma, avatar, atma? Oh, there's some atheists and agnostic also in this room, huh? Huh? Very much atheist and agnostic, okay. Then to atheist and agnostic first. The idea of reincarnation is very simple. What it says is, His Holiness is Dalai Lama. It's his life. It's his business. It's no one's business. Whether you believe in religion or not doesn't matter. He says, I want to come back. It's up to him. You believe whether someone comes back or not. If you don't believe, it's okay. But there are people who believe that he can come back. It's their business. Yes or no? It's his right to decide. So reincarnation, spirituality aside, it's a simple issue of individual freedom or individual choice. Women can do what they want. Men can do what they want because it's my choice, it's my decision. Right? So that is the crux of the issue. His Holiness Dalai Lama talks about reincarnation. It's his business. No one should interfere. Not his family members, no Tibetans, no Buddhists, no Chinese, no Indian, nobody. It's his business. Just leave him alone. He decides, and those who believe him will follow that. Those who don't believe, it's okay, respect that. And China has no business. Now recently, on 90th birthday, His Holiness Dalai Lama made an announcement, a statement. There are 5 paragraphs. Essentially explaining about reincarnation, that he will come back. This is a big news for Tibetan people. The reincarnation of Dalai Lama will continue. Institution of Dalai Lama will continue. The continuity is very important. It brings stability, assurance for Tibetans. Because for us, His Holiness Dalai Lama is not just a symbol. It's not just a priest, not just a guru. But it's soul and identity of the Tibetan movement, Tibetan nation, Tibetan civilization. For us, it's precious. For us, it's sacred. That it should continue. And His Holiness says, I will continue. Now, the difference in this saying, I will continue, is primarily based on the 3rd paragraph of the statement. In the 3rd paragraph, what it says is that in September 2011, he made a statement about reincarnation. What is reincarnation? What are the models or ways of having reincarnation, emanation, selection, and reincarnation, all that thing. But in this recent statement, in 3rd paragraph, it says that in the last 14 years, since 2011, thousands and thousands of people, especially from Tibet, all their followers, requested him, prayed towards him, and said, His Holiness Dalai Lama, we want your reincarnation. please, you must come back. Buddhists in the Himalayan region, all the way from Arunachal to Ladakh, and in India, they made prayers after prayers after prayers and requests saying, please come back. Buddhists in Mongolia, they sent letters after letters after letters saying, please come back. Buddhists in Southeast Asia, Buddhists in China, Buddhists in France, America, Italy, all over the world, they sent letters after letters that he should come back. Now, idea of reincarnation is this. We have professors here and the head of department, right? The fact that there is a great turnout, room is full, means the class is popular, department is popular, right? If followers like it, they like the teacher, they'll attend his teaching. They will turn out. Now I'm taking credit for myself. Huh? So the chela, the followers are saying, right? We want you, the teacher, the Dalai Lama, please come back. We like you as a guru. So it's the followers, it's the chela who's asking the guru to come back. Oh, please come in. Yes. More the merrier. Yeah. Normally, wherever you go, they say, oh, we want to extend warm welcome to our guest. I'm feeling the warmth now. Room is heating up. Yeah.
No less attraction for you than Dalai Lama.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because of that.
So the idea of reincarnation is this. If followers want the guru to come back, you pray and request the guru to come back, and then the guru listens to the follower. Guru doesn't come on his own. He is not deciding, I want to come back to this world. All the gurus are saying, please, all the chelas are saying, please come back. Based on the request and the prayer of the chelas, His Holiness has decided to grant acceptance to that request. So this is key. Now, we are talking of geopolitics in China. Nobody is asking China to select Dalai Lama. Nobody. In fact, we all are saying, don't. But they're saying, I want to. No chela is asking Chinese government, the Communist Party of China, to select Dalai Lama. They say, no, we want to. We want to. All the chelas is saying, it's none of your business. Don't do it. But they're saying, we want to do it. That's the contrast. Buddhists around the world are asking the Dalai Lama to come back, and he has decided to come back. No one is asking Chinese government. In fact, we are saying, shut up, don't interfere, it's none of your business. You are a communist party, you are an atheist, you don't believe, oh, sorry to all the atheists, huh? You don't believe in religion, you say religion is poison. Why you want to bring poison back? So that's the idea, okay? Now, and the US government also has passed Tibetan Policy and Support Act, in which it clearly says that no one should interfere. It is for the Dalai Lama to decide. Whatever he decides will be followed. And if Chinese officials interfere, they will be sanctioned. So that's the stand of the US government. Now as for India, we have 5,000 years of history. From Mahabharata to Ramayana, all the way. In Gurukula. It's very simple. No king and the emperors of India have interfered in the spiritual matters of its public. This is their matter. This is the matter of the priests and the temple. Followers decide and the guru decides. That's how it's respected. So India has 5,000 years of tradition of not interfering on its spiritual matters. So all India can do and say is, for 5,000 years, Indian kings and the emperors never interfered. We left religion and spirituality to their followers. Believers believe, non-believers don't believe, but it's their choice. But it's their business. Similar, Indian government can say, whatever the Dalai Lama decides, if his followers agree, that's their business. And we respect that. That is the parampara of India. Now, the process of reincarnation is such that what happens is that when Dalai Lama We have 14 Dalai Lamas. When they pass away, he appoints a regent or regency to represent him and lead the process to select the next Dalai Lama. And that regent or regency take responsibilities on behalf of Dalai Lama to search for a candidate. Now I'm getting into spiritual domain, okay? So you have to go through familiarity and similarity test. In the sense, the search parties are led by people who are familiar with Dalai Lama. Do you know, I think 13 Dalai Lama or someone was identified by his previous cook. You always think, oh, reincarnation process is such that some high lamas and some officials has to do the selection. No, the identification was done by a previous cook because he was familiar with the Dalai Lama. And he found similar traits in the 13th Dalai Lama. And the 13th Dalai Lama also found the cook, it became familiar. So this is the test you have to go through, right? Now, technically, okay, we have political science. It's Dalai Lama's business. He authorizes regent and regency to select or find the next Dalai Lama. And this regent or regency will appoint search parties. There's clear-cut authorization and process in place. And regency or the search party goes all over the world. Because you know, the 4th Dalai Lama was from Mongolia. 6th Dalai Lama was from Arunachal Pradesh. So we had an Indian Dalai Lama too, you know. So we could have the next Dalai Lama from India too, possible. Now people are nodding, yeah, acha hai, yeah, acha hai. So the search parties find candidates, 10, 20, 30, then they narrow down to 3, sometimes. Or sometimes if they are very sure, maybe 1. They narrow down, and the regent or the regency performs rituals, prayers, and asks for guidance, now spiritual realm, right? Through divination. And then the final candidate is selected. Whoever is the final one, because regent or the regency has full authority bestowed by Dalai Lama to decide. And he decides. And then you enthrone, you put him on a throne, and we say we found the Dalai Lama. Then Dalai Lama is identified, Dalai Lama is recognized. Why I say this is Chinese government, now I want to make it a little complicated, okay? Trying to prop up Chinese pension lama or the fake pension lama recently. You know, in June, Chinese pension lama met President Xi Jinping. President Xi Jinping went to Tibet recently. Only president of China who went to Tibet twice. Why? Tibet is very important for China. Why? He gave a speech in his first visit. Xi Jinping gave a speech to officials, all that, but he also gave a speech to army present in Tibet. What did he say? You can Google the first visit and President Xi Jinping's speech. He said, be prepared to defend Himalayan region. Be prepared to fight the whole of Himalayan region. There's a direct threat to India. It's quote unquote. It was in the headlines of Indian newspaper. What is Xi Jinping saying to troops? He's saying, be prepared to defend this ground and prepare to fight. This time, Xi Jinping met the army again, Chinese army. He gave a speech, but just that his speech was not broadcasted. Why? Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi was coming here. Indian Prime Minister was going to China. That's why it was not broadcasted. But even though it was not broadcasted, what do you think he said to his Chinese troops? Same exact same speech. Himalayan region is the 5 fingers. We must defend it. We must protect it, and we should be prepared to fight. This is the message. Right? Now, Chinese government is trying to prop up pension lama. They want to say, oh, pension lama will select next Dalai Lama. My point is, pension lamas have no role in the recognition of Dalai Lamas. Now, I must make it very clear, okay? Because even Tibetans and many people are confused. Sometimes we say, oh, Panchen Lama and Dalai Lama are like sun and the moon, the father and the son, they recognize each other all the. No. Not recognition. As I said, region is authorized, region lead the process, and the Dalai Lama is enthroned, he's recognized. The process is done. They appoint the teacher. Dalai Lama is selected, done. Now, in some cases, Panchen Lamas have endorsed Dalai Lamas. Dalai Lamas have endorsed Panchen Lama. The key distinction is not recognition, but endorsement. Now, let me make this in political science, this is politics. Let's say in America or in India, if you run as a presidential candidate or one of the parties in America or a prime minister candidate in India, oh, is it a message from Beijing or something? I heard Chinese. But the words is how. That means I agree. Please say thank you to Beijing. Huh? Yeah. So, now endorsement and the recognition. In America, if you are a presidential candidate, you are a candidate for the presidency of America. Now there are governors. In America, they say governors, right? In India, you say chief ministers. Chief ministers can endorse the candidate. But that endorsement does not determine the candidacy. You can withdraw the endorsement, but that candidate is candidate of the party. Recognition is already given when the party nominates the candidate as the candidate for prime ministership or presidencyship. When you say recognition, recognition determines whether he is the real one or not. But no Panchen Lama has authority to recognize Dalai Lama's spirit. But they endorse from time to time. So next time when you hear, oh, we have Panchen Lama, is going to select and recognize next Dalai Lama, political science students, you all should know, nope, that's wrong. Now the Chinese government will bring up something else. They will project this Panchen Lama as the real Panchen Lama. Sorry, the real Panchen Lama has disappeared, was kidnapped in 1995, had disappeared for 30 years. You might not know that. He is the second most popular Lama in Tibet. Okay. So what happened was, he died in 1990. And the Chinese Communist Party formed a search committee headed by Chade Rinpoche of Tashilumbo Monastery. As I said, selection of Panchen Lama is decided by Tashilumbo Monastery, his monastery. Dalai Lama's selection is decided by Ganden Potang. Two separate schools, two separate monasteries. Okay. So, Chinese government appointed a committee. He was headed by Chade Rinpoche of Tashilumbo Monastery. And then finally, they said, this is the boy. We found the Panchen Lama. And they sent the name to Dalai Lama in India. Dalai Lama announced the name. Now Dalai Lama announced the name. Chinese government quickly kidnapped that boy, Gendin Chokin Nyima. 5 years old boy. And he has disappeared till now. In his place, they appointed another boy. Parents were both Communist Party members who did not believe in religion, but he was loyal to the party, so the boy was selected as the Panchen Lama. So we call it fake Panchen Lama. We call that a Chinese Panchen Lama. So that's the Panchen Lama who is meeting Xi Jinping, who was in Tibet. So now if fake Panchen Lama appoints fake Dalai Lama, fake is fake. Duplicate होता है, original होता है कि नहीं? हाँ? So this is what you will read, and they will bring laws and order number 5 and golden urn and these things. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. But now you will also read our golden urn. So the golden urn was brought in 1793 by Qing Emperor. Anyone studying China? I don't want to complicate it, huh? Not many, but okay, cut short. Chinese emperor, they are very powerful. They said, oh, the selection of Dalai Lamas and other reincarnated Lamas in Tibet is quite corrupt. In a way, it's true. Some Lamas were selected through corrupt process. Some influential family, they wanted their son to be Lama and then say, hey, could you make my son the Lama? And then, yes, there was corruption. We can't deny it. Right? There was. But then they said, now this golden urn, if you put names in the golden urn, select one, then you will get the original one. But then Chinese officials, they like to take red envelopes. When they were using golden urn, they were taking red envelopes, right, left and center. It became more corrupted. So the golden urn brought more corruption. So it didn't clean corruption. Now Tibetans have a way of weeding out corruption in the reincarnation system. It's called transparency and democracy. So you have High Lama, you search for the reincarnation, and you say, maybe my son, is a good candidate. I should make him the reincarnated Lama. You can, and they do sometimes. Influential family do. But what happens is that religion is matter of faith. You bring a Lama through a fake process, you lose faith. They don't follow you. And this Lama disappears. So in the history of Tibet, we have many great Lamas. And reincarnation process takes place. But you corrupt the process, you lose the reincarnated Lama. Many Lamas have lost. But if you select through authentic process, followers will keep following you. So we have a system. That's why reincarnation system has been alive for 800 years. Why? Yes, there are weaknesses, there are corruption, there are abuses, but we have a way of weeding it out. So that's why we always say, when we with Westerners, not so Indian, not many Indians, there's so many Buddhist centers in the West, in America, you're everywhere. And they ask, sometimes Western followers, they say, I have a guru, his name is this Lama, that Lama, he's so good. But how come no Tibetans come to that center? If the guru is authentic, Tibetans will go. If guru is too westernized, they don't go. So that's how we authenticate, we weed out the system. So we have a process. It takes time. Sometimes you say, fake Lama is running around this and this, very mobile and fancy, this and that. They like more material goods than lay people. Yeah, there are so many criticisms within the Tibetan community. There's so many, jokes being made. But good thing is, this is how we carry on our belief. This is how we weed out, we separate the real one and the fake ones. So that's why the reincarnation system has survived for 800 years. That's why the reincarnation of Dalai Lama, especially, has survived. And we got it right. Look at the 14th Dalai Lama. Isn't it great? Right? I have met atheist, agnostic, religious, Christian, Muslim, anyone who met Dalai Lama. They always come out thinking he's special. Imagine you are the ruler of a country. You lost your country, you lost everything. And His Holiness Dalai himself says when he came to India, he had nothing, nobody. He just had sky and earth as friend and nothing. And he became one of the most popular individual in the world. And he received more than 100 awards. He has authored and co-authored 150 books. All the awards you can name in the world. Nobel Peace Prize, Templeton Prize, UN Environmental Prize, Presidential, the Congress Medal. You just name it. He has received all the awards in the world. Again, India is a little behind, Not yet Bharat Ratna. So, the greatness of him, and I have met him, many times because I have had the, fortune of working with him closely for 10 years. Right, I was his political and administrative right-hand man for 10 years, and I have had one-on-one meeting maybe at least 100 times. Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours sometimes. So I've learned a lot from him. I know his greatness. What is happening to Nepal now? You're right. Oli went to China first, and he also participated in the 100th anniversary of celebration of Communist Party. He literally addressed. But what's happening in Nepal now? Now this is political science. Okay, let me try to bring some, my own theory. Now, I said this a few weeks back to 130 MLAs, because here in India we always talk about youth dividend. We have 1.4 plus billion people and 500, 700 million are youth, and it's a dividend. But I see it as, if you generate employment, it's dividend. If you don't generate employment, it's a disaster. So, in Sri Lanka, youth stormed the parliament and the government building and overthrew the government. In Bangladesh, they again stormed, youth mainly, because unemployment. In Asia, corruption is relative term. Ruling party, opposition party, thoda zyada ho gaya, but you cannot say, there's no corruption. Okay, corruption is the reason. Of course, there's nepo kids and all the reasons. But generally, youth, when they don't have employment, they don't have nothing to do, what do? They watch social media and they see nepo kids, they see exploitation, they see corruption, they complain. When you have a bread, you have to share. Corruption does not make them share, and they see it, they protest. So what's happening in Nepal is very similar. And look at Pakistan. Youth are in revolt against even army. Why they are supporting, Imran Khan is primarily because they want employment, right? And in Indonesia too. Now this is a problem for Global South. Unfortunately, I am from Global South, I say this. Presently in the world, there are 1.9 to 2 billion, some say even 3 billion youth in the Global South. Now 3 billion youth need jobs, employment. And which country can create that number of jobs? It's a major crisis. So that's why youth, they migrate to the West. America is the biggest country. America can take 1 million immigrants a year. More than that, you lose election. So Biden took 3 million immigrants a year for 4 years. He lost election. Now in Germany and Australia and Europe, more immigrants there. The anti-immigrant, it's a reality, because more immigrants come. Literally, job are shifted, and people complain. They vote against you now. But then the West cannot take 2 or 3 billion youth. Doesn't have the capacity. UAE doesn't have. UAE can take maybe, I don't know, 1 million people from South Asia. You just go through the list. Germany, Australia, Switzerland, you just go through. At most, 10 million youth can be given jobs in the West or outside of Global South. Now, where do 2 billion youth go? Now, AI is coming, means there will be less jobs. Automation is coming, there will be less jobs. So this is a crisis in the making. So what's happening in Nepal? At a micro level is nepo kids, corruption, all that. But at a macro level, this is the biggest challenge for the Global South. So that's why it's a warning to leaders around the world. You better create jobs, or at least try. If you don't try, we'll throw you out. So at a macro level, this is the big. Even in China, has so many industries, but 40% of the youth are unemployed. Even in China, they are not able to create jobs. Even in China, with such a fast-growing and large economy that they have, and you can understand the rest of the world, right? Now, Xi Jinping, yes, first visit to India, right? Galwan happened, Doklam happened, yeah, literally around the same time. Second time when they went to South, Xi Jinping and Prime Minister, they were celebrating. Can you imagine, as I said, in Panchshil, while you were shaking hands of peace, you put the knife in the hand, right? They were celebrating 50th anniversary of diplomatic relationship between India and China. Because India was one of the first countries to go and recognize China. Because China was not recognized till 1970s by the rest of the world. India went first. That's why India wanted to celebrate 60th anniversary. And wanted 50th anniversary, and wanted to have 50 events in India and 50 events in China. Okay, MEA and Foreign Ministry, they signed all the plans. Galwan happened. They moved in, they beat up Indian troops and injured 100 of them, killed 13 or 17 of them. This is what I meant. When you sign Panchshil, there's a knife in their hand, clearly doing 2 visits to Xi Jinping. Doklam and Galwan happened. Can you imagine? Two countries saying, let's celebrate our 50th anniversary of relationship. You are the first one to recognize us, so we have 50 events lined up. No, we will come and beat you and kill you and take your territory. That's Sun Tzu for you. That's deceit. So that's why we always say, if you want to understand China, you must understand Tibet. If you don't understand Tibet, you will never understand China. So you keep saying Hindi China bye-bye, and China will keep saying bye-bye to you.
Yes? Anyone? Having any question? Particularly, yeah. Please introduce yourself and then have the question.
So I find quite interesting the reincarnation system, and I want to put it in a theoretical framework. I want to look at this thing. So if you put it in theoretical framework, can we say that this falls into the category of biopolitics or geopolitics that challenges secular hierarchy?
It's in what, geopolitics or
Biopolitics.
biopolitics? From environmental point of view, you're saying?
I'm asking that this reincarnation system, reincarnation politics, can we categorize it as geopolitics or biopolitics?
Biopolitics.
Yeah.
How you define biopolitics?
Sir, as per this concept, biopolitics is something, the mechanism to which state controls the biological existence of human life.
Oh, you're referring to Foucault?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, geopolitics and biopolitics in that sense. Is geopolitics, as I showed, recognition of Dalai Lama has major ramification. Whole of Himalayan belt, maybe I can say majority regard Dalai Lama as their guru. From Arunachal Pradesh to Nepal, Sikkim, Bhutan also, and whole of Himachal Pradesh, and all the way Arunachal Pradesh. And then you go up north, Tibet. Obviously, they follow Dalai Lama. You go up north of Tibet, Inner Mongolia, they also follow Dalai Lama. You go up north of Inner Mongolia, Outer Mongolia, which is independent country, they follow Dalai Lama. You go up north of Mongolia, is Russia. There is a Buret Republic and Kalmyk Republic. Okay? Tuba, Buret and Tuba right north. Both follow Dalai Lama as the root guru. And there is a Kalmyk in this Eastern Europe side. Even in Russia, there are so many followers. 3 states of Russia, they follow Dalai Lama as their root guru. And you go, east of here, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, all are Buddhists, right? So even in France, the 3rd largest religion in France is Buddhism. 5th largest religion in Italy is Buddhism. So and so forth, in America too. So it has global ramification, why it's important. That's one. Other reason is, if you allow Chinese government to select the next Dalai Lama, they will select the next Imam. And they are already doing it in Xinjiang, the Muslim region. They select the Imam. Religious Imam are removed. Communist Party Imams are appointed. Now they are already appointing bishops, you know that? And Vaticans have agreed also. They have an agreement between Vatican and China, which says the bishops will be appointed. Initially, I thought the Vaticans will nominate and Chinese government will select one of the nomination. It's other way around. Chinese Communist Party nominates and Vatican has to select Chinese Communist Party nominees. Now, then they might appoint the next cardinal for East Asia, Hong Kong based, Cardinal Zen has died. So it's not far where they will interfere in the selection of the Pope also. In that sense, they might interfere in the selection of the high priest, Buddhist priest in all of Southeast Asia. Because why? They will say, oh, I've been authorized the Vatican to select Pope and to select bishops and maybe cardinals. I select Dalai Lama and other reincarnation. I select imams in China and neighboring countries. Then I should select all the head priests of Buddhist countries in Southeast Asia and Shankar Acharyas of India too. That's Chinese world order. They will dictate. No, they say they don't believe in religion. They say religion is poison. But they say, I want to select the next religious leader. Why? They're not interested in religion, but they're interested in the office. That's why it's biopic. They want to control not just the biology, but also the office. That's all they're interested. So they want to control that. And imagine, now that boy who the Chinese will select, okay, 3-year-old boy, will go through misery because no Tibetans will regard him as a reincarnation of Dalai Lama. And the parents will come under enormous social ostracization. They want to put this boy through a tragic experience. And they don't care. You suffer, your family suffer, I don't care, I want your office. You will be my representative, you will be my puppet. That's Chinese world order. You know, you kowtow. You don't kowtow, we'll get you. So there's only submission.
Yes.
Another question? Yeah.
Yeah, please. One by one, please. Yeah, first.
Go on. Yeah. First one, yeah.
Anyone? Please louder.
China tries to make a false image in the world and it cares a lot for the people of Tibet and other areas which it has actually annexed. So now President is trying to introduce this criteria of Tibet as well by creating the era of China. So why cannot we tell that the lot of hypotheses is still doing on people? What are other nations doing and how is this going?
Tibet, reincarnation, Xinjiang, Mongolia, Hong Kong, maybe in Taiwan. So there's so many other examples, right? Till 2016, you're right. The image of China in all Pew Research surveys, they were like 55%, 60% positive. Now, since 2016, especially after COVID, right, it has shifted now. So there's net negative of China's image, at least in the Western world and third world countries as well. Why? Because of Tibetans, we've been speaking out, right? So this is how you can push back. And that's why you have to know about history of Tibet as well, you know. Now collectively, they put 2 to 3 million Uyghurs, Muslims, in concentration camps. Now interestingly, Imran Khan talks about, you know, Kashmir or Palestine. But when he was asked, what about the Muslim in Uyghur? He said, no, I can't talk about it. Same mosque, same Allah, same, you know, Quran. They don't want to talk. So even Muslim worlds don't talk much about Xinjiang. So, you know, I have Muslim friends, Uyghur friends, yes. I say they are quite disappointed. It just, similarly, Buddhist countries also, Southeast Asia, they don't talk much about Buddhism or Tibet. So it's true. Till 2016, China was ascending in its image, in its popularity, acceptance. 2016, it has declined. Even in India, till Doklam happened, image of China was quite positive. Everybody was buying Xiaomi and Apple and you know, wearing Chinese goods and all that, you know. Even the celebrities endorsing it, you know. Even the Indian cricket team, our national symbol, were wearing their uniform with Apple and Xiaomi all over, you know, Chinese brands, as though it looked as though they were representing China rather than India. So I used to say, why can't Indian companies sponsor them? Why Indian celebrities have to endorse, you know, Chinese product? They already have name, they already have fame, they already have money. Why you want a little bit more money and endorse Chinese companies? Why don't you endorse, you know, Indian companies? So collectively we have to work together. This is the only way. Because China is coming, it's a fact. And Galwan happened, as I told you. So we have to push back. That's the only way.